Rick Hong here for Hollywood First Look Features. Today I am with Jules WILLCOX and we are talking her movie, Alone. Jules, I had a great time watching this movie. I love these contained suspense thrillers. And so I wanted to know, how was it working in the elements?
I mean, that's just a whole other character, right? She's, against the world, she's against her grief, she's against the man, but she's definitely up against nature. So we were shooting in nature. We were shooting in October and November in the Pacific Northwest, where it's not warm during that time of year, in the elements, in the forest, on the side of a mountain, in whitewater rapids, and that was all real. So it made it very, a lot easier to act cold and scared and freezing.
Well, I mean, the elements were definitely, they were there. I mean, we shot, if we were shooting and it started, in the Pacific Northwest, it would just start raining. It was challenging, but it was also fun, and it kind of added to the film, I believe.
Please let me go.
Do you think?
When you're a director and you take this on, what are you thinking about in terms of this is how I need to execute properly a suspense thriller?
Well, I think, again, that's what attracted me to this movie and to Mattias Olsson's script, was that it kind of was a suspense thriller boiled down to its essence, to its most elemental qualities. And so I think you have to take a lot of things into account. Some of it is in the physical production and how you set up the shots, and how you're framing things, but so much of it also comes down to the editorial pacing and the audio design. I think audio is a huge part of everything that I'm involved in, and in the suspense thriller, you have to really calibrate not only sounds and music, but silences and space, and some of that is in creating sounds out of very little things, so we can hear any little sound and feel any little thing and any slight movement, so that the big movements then become very frightening and jarring.
We just had a little minor issue when I broke my foot in the first day of the second week of shooting.
Oh, whoa! How did you guys get around that?
It was just a freak accident. It was a running stunt, and this root kind of came out of nowhere, and I ran right over it. So, we actually, as John says, it's not worth it to have something like that happen on a film, but it did inform everything and actually made us be much more inventive the rest of the filming.
Cool.
I had to move on for most of the filming. So that pain, all that's easy, it's real.
You do facial hair really well. So was a mustache a conscious choice, or just you just happened to have it and you're like, I'm just gonna keep wearing it?
If I remember correctly, I think I went there with a mustache. I had a little bit of scruff, and then John and I, the director, we kind of, when we went into hair and makeup before, we just started talking about it, and we sculpted it down to a mustache and thought that looked best. So.
Yeah, hence, it's like I said, you do facial hair really well. I grow nothing, so I'm jealous.
Yeah, well, I wish my facial hair had an agent, and then it could get paid separately.
And then finally, so how savvy are you when it comes to actually driving a car with a hitch and a U-Haul behind? I don't know if that was actually you, or you saw just a few scenes, but that's really difficult and challenging, and I don't think people understand that.
It is not easy, especially with a 1982 Volvo that has a turning radius of, I don't know, barely turns. And then you've got this U-Haul hitch on there. That was probably some of the most challenging filmmaking in the whole shooting of Alone.
The movie is Alone. It comes out on September 18th. Until next time, I'm Rick Hong.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Jules.